Hi, I'm Claudia Brown Coulter. I am your go-to mediator for individuals navigating divorce that have children with special needs. So this is our second in a video series about navigating divorce. The title of this one is Understanding the Impact of Divorce on Special Needs Children. So all of our children are wonderful and unique and beautiful and gifts from heaven. However, some of them have some things that maybe we weren't expecting, some extra little things about them that they need support and help, and it requires more sensitivity from us as their parents. Now, when you decide to divorce, that one change impacts everyone. It impacts you, your co-parent, children. But it can have a more pronounced impact if your child or children have special needs. So we're going to run through the list of ways that divorce may impact your child, and then signs of stress in your child, and then really briefly what you can do. So let me go through this list briefly so as to not overwhelm you. So we're going to talk about, maybe I should do it this way so that it makes sense as you're reading, as you're looking at the screen. Let's see. So we're going to talk about, the title of a potential difference or disability, what your child needs from you at home, and then the way divorce can impact that. And I have made a little chart for you. That way you can have it, if that's useful. It's going to look something like this. So let's talk about ADHD. If your child has ADHD, so one of the things or some of the things that they need from you, you need to create a structure for them at home that creates guidance and boundaries so that they can flourish in there. They can have freedom of expression and creativity, and they really get to be their unique and individual self. But the way divorce can impact that is that beautiful structure you created can get altered because now they're going to two different households. And what it could exacerbate any impulsivity, any inattention, and then the natural result is as parents, we're like, oh no. And so then we clamp down more, and that limits their expression, their creativity, their uniqueness. And then they're like, I'm going to be more inattentive and more impulsive. So it's a vicious cycle. So that could happen with your child if they have ADHD. Now, let me preface by saying, we're going to talk about the autism spectrum next, but all of our kids exist on a spectrum. Nobody is all this and all that. It's just ranges. So don't be surprised if your child doesn't fit neatly in a box. We don't want them to. They're beautiful and wonderful. They're not going to fit in a box. Don't force them there. All right. So if your child is on the autism spectrum, they need predictable routines and environments. You may pack the same lunch for them every day. You may take the same route home. But suddenly they're going to two different households. Nothing is the same. There could be increased anxiety because of that. Maybe you see behavioral issues cropping up. There could be confusion about who's picking them up and where they're supposed to go and why they're not with the other parent and where is the other parent. They could become incredibly distressed. For your children that may have emotional or behavioral disorders, they need consistent, predictable support systems. Listen, I'm going to be a broken record. And yes, I know I'm talking fast, but you don't have time to listen to this, I think, and go through divorce and be stressed. And maybe you haven't even decided to get a divorce yet, and you don't want people to overhear. And it could just be like, listen, lady, I don't want to talk about this for too long. So that's why I'm going fast. So if your child, so my broken recordness is consistency, routine, support, structure. That's what all children need. That's what we need as adults as well. So if you've got a child who has been identified with a behavioral disability or some sort of emotional difference, divorce may impact them through, and you could see increased aggression. There could be withdrawal. There could be regression in some of the behavior strides that you've made to this point. At home, you could see that they refuse to do their academic work. They refuse to do homework. They refuse to do the chores that you've given them. And it has nothing to do with their ability levels. They're just like, I ain't doing that. Okay. Intellectual disabilities. wide-ranging spectrum again. Kids with intellectual disabilities need consistent routines and emotional support. Now, depending on the severity of that, it could be that you go through a divorce, and prior to the divorce, you were teaching your child how to properly dry the dishes and put them away. And you've been practicing that skill. You've been practicing and practicing and practicing, and they've gotten good at it. And then suddenly you've got two households. And this other parent, maybe they don't even cook. Maybe they just order DoorDash or Grubhub all day long, and that's it. And there's no dishes to clean up. So your child never gets to practice that skill. So they come to you and they practice that skill, but they've lost it because there's not practicing here. So those skills of tying your shoes, brushing your teeth, all those types of things, if they're not practicing it in both households, they can lose the progress they made. The other thing is, depending on the ability or disability, your child may elope. You may be in the kitchen doing something, or you may have gone to the laundry room to do something, and you turn around and your child is out the door, gone. Because you no longer have that consistent supervision like you had when you had a two-parent household. Learning disabilities. Your child with learning disability, they may need more than the normal amount of time to complete tasks, to complete their homework. This is why when you're in an IEP, one of the accommodations that is not uncommon is less homework, right? Cut that homework in half, because it takes them so long to complete it. Now you switch to two households, there could be a decline in their academic performance. There could be confusion and frustration and inability to adapt to two sets of rules. It could be that you've given them a lot of time to do their work and the other parent is not so patient, or maybe they never attended IEP, so they're not quite as aware of what their child needs in this area, and they want to know why they aren't normal. If you have children with physical disabilities, once again, they need consistency. They need consistent caregiving for their safety. So how divorce might impact that is it can impact their accessibility, their mobility, their independence, their comfort. Their body needs to be cared for in a consistent way. And if it's not, it can impact their safety as well, and can impact their health, their physical health, and their mental health. And last on that list is sensory processing disorders. They need consistency and predictable sensory environments. What happens if they don't have that? They can go into sensory overload. They've got two households and they're moving from place to place. Maybe they went from a quiet neighborhood to an apartment and it's noisier there. There could be all sorts of things that can cause them distress and sensory overload. So these are not things to make you freak out or to go, great, now I can't ever get divorced. No, boo-boo. I need you to do what is right for you. My purpose in this is going, okay, this is how it can impact your children. What can we do to mitigate that impact? Now, next part of this video, stress, signs of stress in your children. Okay, so I created another handout for you that looks something like this, and I'll make sure you'll be able to download it. But here are some things to look for in your child, no matter where they lie on the ability or disability spectrum. It doesn't matter. Signs of stress. When your child is stressed, maybe everything seems to be going fine, but you notice a change in their behavior. Right? Maybe they're moody, and it's not because they're a teenage girl, right? Maybe they're moody. Maybe they're more aggressive. Maybe they're more withdrawn. Maybe they show less interest in activities. That's a change in behavior. If you notice it and there's nothing else that changes except the divorce, I need you to pay attention to that. Another sign of stress in kids are physical symptoms. Headaches, stomach aches. And we know this when the kid's like, I don't want to, oh, my stomach hurts. Like, boy, you're not sick. Go to school. But it is a sign of stress. It doesn't mean it's not real. It's a sign of stress. Maybe they're not sleeping as well as they once did. Maybe they are not eating as well as they once did. Another sign of stress are emotional expressions. So I just the other day had a parent say, you know what? Parent A left and for about 6 weeks. And when they came back, I noticed a change in my son, and he became much more clingy. Clinginess is a sign of stress. It's an emotional sign of stress. They could feel helpless, worried, fear, anxiety, all the things that you don't want your child to feel, all the things that you don't want to feel. There could be academic changes as signs of stress. There's a drop in grades. Maybe your teachers, the teacher or teachers or members of the IEP team or school staff notice that, you know what, their behavior is different. They're just not trying as much anymore. They're always late to school. Of course, you're like, I dropped them off. Where'd they go from my car door to the front door? There's, maybe they're not as attentive as they should be. And then lastly, there's social changes. This is a sign of stress. Maybe they've gotten rid of their friend group. They're not hanging out with their friends anymore. They're isolating themselves. Or maybe they're getting in fights with their friends, and so they ain't got no friends no more. That's stressful. So, what can you do? I want to assure you, parents are the most important factor in a child's success and development. If a parent is for their child, nothing can stop that child. Nothing. You are the number one determining factor in the success of your child. So do not throw your hands up in the air and think there's nothing I can do. Because girl, that's not true. Boy, you know that's not true. Right? Even if your co-parent decides, I'm just going to be a half parent. You do what you do in your house, right? You are important. So, maintain stability as much as possible. Hopefully, you are able to create a parenting plan with your co-parent to create a beautiful consistency between the two households. But if you are unable to do that, then I need you to just have your household consistent as possible. Maintain stability and routine as much as possible. Support them emotionally. You're going through stuff, but they're going through stuff too. So when they're at your co-parent's house, you can let yourself go emotionally. You can have a freak out. But when they're with you, I need you to be their emotional support, to be the one to soothe them, to calm them, and then go cry in your room later. And I don't mean that insultingly. Like, I've been through a divorce. It is rough. And it is hard to be there for your child when your world is being turned upside down. And then, as best as you can, inform your co-parent of the needs of your child. Help them create consistency and really withhold judgment from your other parent. Like, you might be judging them. Go ahead, judge them. Don't let them see that, right? We live in a reality here. You go ahead, judge them. Don't let them or your kids pick up on that. So, your job, your primary job as a parent, as you're navigating divorce, is when your kids are with you, be their rock, be their steady, be their excellent caregiver, and then take that break when they're gone. All right, I will see you in the next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe.